badly with Crawford on 4th down, getting that first down, really making the first wrong decision he made this afternoon by trying to throw the football. He had good field position around the 45-yard line, decided to throw the ball instead of run, got stopped, and after that was all Notre Dame. But, you know, their passing game is just, it's very difficult. You don't practice that much passing during the course of the week. You rely on your wishbone. You don't think you're going to play catch-up football. And today, being down by 14 points, there was just no way they could get back in the game.
So Notre Dame winning it by a score of 24-10. Let's check some of the final stats. Of course, Alan Pinkett had a big day, but as far as the team is concerned, Notre Dame 22 first downs to Army's 20. Fairly close in that department. But Notre Dame had considerably more yardage, I believe, than Army did. Notre Dame penalty yards. Notre Dame was penalized for 24, Army for 11. Not really a factor. In fact, there weren't many penalties in the game.
No, I thought really the key to the game, after Army was really trying to gang up on Pinkett, that's when Berline started to hit the open receivers downfield. Notre Dame has great skilled people at the wide receiver position, and if Berline gets better at hitting those wide open receivers, and their offense will score a lot more points. This afternoon, he missed a few early in the game and also in the third quarter. But by and large, those people were wide open downfield, and Army could not put any kind of pressure on Berline. So the passing game, after Pinkett got going, really hurt Army.
One turnover in the game. Now, that is unusual, and that came on the first offensive play for Army. Very unusual, or it might have been the second, but very unusual for Army to turn the ball over.
Yeah, right now, Crawford just coming right down the line of scrimmage. It was a pitch out to Lampley. It was a little bit high, comes up right around his helmet, but really a catchable ball because he caught one-handed for the touchdown later in the second quarter. Notre Dame got the football, and really a confidence builder because they took this right in for a score. A lot of times this year, when they got in great field position on a turnover, they couldn't move the football and had to settle for field goals, and that hurt them at times.
Time of possession fairly even. Notre Dame had it a minute more than Army.
Well, I guess the Army coming in the game wanted to control the football and really possess the ball, but Notre Dame just did an excellent job today. Notre Dame had more balance in their offense, bigger and stronger, and like I said, they were the better football team.
As far as total yardage is concerned, Notre Dame, as you see, rushing 207 yards to Army's 196. Now, Army came in as the leading rushing team in the nation coming into this game, but they had just 196 today.
Their average per game coming in this game was 393 yards per game rushing, and Notre Dame defense did an excellent job of holding Army to 196. And by and large, they really made Crawford. He was the guy that had to handle the football most of the time in that wishbone.
They were also second in the scoring coming into the game. The Black Knights of the Hudson, 42.6 points per game, and were able to only get 10 points this afternoon. Army with 98 yards passing, and Notre Dame with 186. Army's passing, Torrey Crawford was 5 for 5 in his first 5 attempts, but then he went 0 for 4 later, and they don't like to put the ball in the air.
There's no question about it. They like to possess the football. They do not want Crawford throwing the ball down the field that much. It's just they came in this game really feeling after the Boston College win, which Boston College is a solid football team defensively. They thought they could play with Notre Dame and got a good chance of winning here since I think since 1958 was the last time. And all the Army people felt they had a great opportunity, but they just cannot stack up man for man against Notre Dame.
Notre Dame got on the board first. Pernell Taylor, the super heavyweight boxing champion, punched his way in from 1 yard out.
This was right after the first turnover by Army, the fumble by Lampley, and they took advantage of it. It was all running plays. Again, Faust was criticized for putting the football off at times and not trying to hammer the football at people. Well, today that's exactly what he did on that first drive.
Notre Dame went in front 14-0 when Tim Brown was all alone in the end zone, and obviously a mix-up in coverage by Army.
Notre Dame flooded an area. They had Pinkett going in a deep pattern down the middle, Brown down the sideline, and Brown just faded in the corner of the end zone, was wide open. There's not a defender within 4 or 5 yards of him. That was one of the few breakdowns Army had defensively in their secondary.
Notre Dame lost Milt Jackson for the season, a great wide receiver, but obviously they don't need wide receivers. They've got some great ones.
Well, the skilled people they have. Here we're seeing Crawford right now going back to pass. This is the play they set up with a pass downfield to the 5-yard line with a few passes, long passes they've thrown this year. And this put Army back into the football game. After this was the option route for the touchdown, but this made it 14-7 for a short time, put Army back in the game.
Good grab there by Benny White, and here's Army's touchdown on the option play. Good pitch by Crawford.
Now Crawford just coming down the line of scrimmage, reading the options perfectly. When the defensive man forces the play, he just flips the ball back to Lampley, and like you said, Lampley made a one-handed, left-handed catch and just went easily into the end zone.
That made it 14-7, and that's the way it ended at halftime. Notre Dame was leading 14-7 at the half, and Notre Dame winning by a score of 24-10. We'll be back in just a moment at Notre Dame Stadium. The final score was Notre Dame 24 and Army 10.
No matter how hard you work, Right Guard can help keep you smelling good for up to 24 hours.
You work hard to be Right Guard.
This is Brush Plus from Gillette. A shaving concentrate and brush in one. A brush to lift whiskers, a concentrate to soften them. A shave that is superior. Brush Plus for a superior shave. When the big U flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Back at Notre Dame Stadium, where the Fighting Irish had defeated Army by a score of 24-10 in the game that Notre Dame almost had to win, and they did. Army coming in undefeated, 5-0. They go 5-1, and Notre Dame is now 2-3. And we'll look forward to a meeting with the men of Troy, USC, which is always one of the nation's great rivalries, Notre Dame and Southern Cal.
That should be a great football game, even though USC is not the great team it once was. But I think Gerry Faust is very confident that now that he has a number of games here at home, and he's got one of the toughest schedules in the country, that he can turn his program around. And just talked to him briefly yesterday. I think he was very nervous about this game. He wanted to get the win under his belt here at home, and so his program can go on from there. So I'm sure he's looking forward to that Southern Cal game next week, especially playing right here at home.
Right here at home, and this is the first of 4 straight home games, which should really get Notre Dame back on track. They have USC, then they have Navy, and then they have Ole Miss, all of them at Notre Dame Stadium, where obviously there's a lot of legend and tradition, and Notre Dame has to, that's worth an additional 7 points for Notre Dame, I would think.
You know, I didn't really think that until coming here. It's my first trip to Notre Dame and Notre Dame Stadium, and it is really more than just a football game. It is an event out here, and coming out of that tunnel, I never had the opportunity to play here or be recruited by Notre Dame, but I can see where it's so much of an advantage for a Notre Dame team, and it's such of a disadvantage for a visiting team coming in here and trying to play against Notre Dame.
Notre Dame winning by a score of 24-10 over the Army team that came in undefeated this afternoon. A big win for the Irish, a big win for Gerry Faust. And we're going to be going shortly down to Gerry Faust, who will be joining us. Hopefully Alan Pinkett, who set the all-time Notre Dame rushing record, will also join us. But it was 24-10 this afternoon, and Notre Dame, the first of 4 consecutive home games. Army will have to regroup, but Army has nothing to be ashamed about. They are 5-1 and playing good football for the most part all year.
Oh, they're a very excellent team. The real key to the Army team with that triple option, the fact they don't fumble the football, even though they fumbled once this afternoon. You know, they're well-disciplined. That's a typical Army, the Corps Cadets, and so they don't make the mistakes they made this afternoon on the initial series. But they'll be back, and I'm sure they would love to have another opportunity at Notre Dame, but it was just too much for Notre Dame this afternoon. But they've had a great year so far. I'm sure they'll continue that the rest of the season for them.
Army got on the board first in the second half. It was 14-7 at halftime when Army kicked a field goal. Craig Stopa getting a field goal. It cut Notre Dame's lead to 14-10, but then Notre Dame had a very critical drive, and they had a good drive of 82 yards. It consumed 6.5 minutes, and it was capped off on a touchdown by Alan Pinkett, and that really kind of did it because it was a long time consuming drive, and they almost need to drive there because Notre Dame, after their 14-0 lead, got the ball and punted every time except when the half ran out.
And I'm sure they feel very fortunate, too. The fact Army was down there twice in close, going for the touchdown one time where the official ruled that the tight end was out of bounds. They did not have the reception. Also, when Crawford pitched the ball to Lampley, ruled that he was down at the 5-yard line, which was a correct call. But if they would have got a few scores in there, or even tied the football game up instead of getting that field goal, it might have been a different situation, because Notre Dame might have been thinking, here it comes again, here come our problems again. But they held down there, held Army to the field goal, and then which showed a good football team, took that kickoff and went right back down and scored, and that really iced the game for them.
It was an 82-yard drive that was capped off on Alan Pinkett's 1-yard dive to put Notre Dame ahead at this point by a score of 21-10, and Pinkett really finds that end zone.
Well, this was a last yard and a half or 2 yards, but he really set up the entire drive, running with the football out of the I formation, and then when he wasn't running with it, was play-action pass, and that's when Berline was finding all the receivers open downfield in those seams behind the linebackers in front of the defensive back. And the reason they were open is because people were so conscious of Pinkett carrying the football that the linebackers couldn't get out in time to cover those routes.
As we mentioned, Army leading the nation in rushing coming into this week's action. Second in scoring, you see why. 48-6 over Western Michigan, 20-15 over Rutgers, 41-3 over Penn, 59 against Yale, and beat Boston College 45-14 convincingly last week. This being their first loss of the season, but Army has a chance to have another fine year. Jim Young took them to their first bowl ever last year, and Army certainly with a chance to have another good year under Jim Young. But Gerry Faust has joined us down in the locker room, and Coach Faust of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, congratulations on your win this afternoon. This was a big one for you, and what were the keys that you felt to your 24-10 win over Army?
Well, I felt our defense played very well, and this is 2 weeks in a row that we've held the wishbone to a total of 2 rushing touchdowns, or 2 touchdowns, period. And one was a pass and one was a rush today. So we were very pleased with the way our defense played. I thought our offense controlled the football and made the key downs when they had to make the downs, and made the scores when they had to make the scores. It was a good victory for us, and it was a good Army football team, and they're an excellent team and one of the better teams that we've faced, and we've had a tough schedule all year this year.
Gerry, did the 2-week preparations for Army, was that an advantage for you coming in this game?
Well, it allowed us to heal a couple people up, but we got a guy injured during that time, Wally Klein. But what we did, we were able to work on some of the things that we needed to work on offensively more than defensively. The week we were off, we left them off a couple of days because we were in midterm exams, and we practiced the last 3 days, but most of those days we worked on 15-yard line in with the offense and against good people, because we had to get that down, and it worked very well today.
Was the philosophy against that option to have Crawford carry the football and just never let him get turned upfield?
No, not really. We really wanted to take the fullback and the quarterback away and let the ball go to the pitch man, which we try to do. But Crawford, as you know, is an excellent quarterback. He proved that last week against BC, but I thought our players did an excellent job of containing him as well as the fullback. Army's got a real fine offensive line. It's the biggest academy line I've seen in years, and they come off the ball very well.
Gerry, you talked about losing Wally Klein. You moved Eric Dorsey from nose guard over to a defensive tackle. Another guy we saw a lot of today was Jeff Coons, who played a great game.
Yeah, I think Jeff finally, you know, he's a sophomore, and he rose to the occasion, and that's what we have to have. We're banged up in the interior defensive line, and that's been a problem. We've lost 2 of our 3 starters there, and we're hoping to get Wally back in 3 weeks.
Had to be pleased with your outside linebackers, too.
They did a great job. I was very pleased with them. Larkin still got the ankle bothering him a little bit. It bothered him in the game a little bit, but thanks. And Figueroa both played well, and our secondary supported very well. I thought our kicking game was excellent, too. We only had 1 breakdown in the kicking game, and that was on the kickoff there in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter right there, where they got the ball back to the 50-yard line. Otherwise, our kicking game was excellent. I thought our goal line defense was excellent also. Even though they had some opportunities there, our kids played well. I'm sure the guy was down on the knee with the quarterback when he pitched. And,
he was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so, too. The other one I couldn't see, but our players played well. They held them well.
It seemed like your offensive line really did a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage, and a lot of times Pinkett was going through the hole untouched.
Well, they did a good job, and I think our passing game helped that. And Steve Berline was doing an excellent job throwing the ball and hit his target most of the time. So we were very pleased with his progress. Our receivers did an excellent job. Our line did. And Stams, our fullback, Monahan, our fullback, and Purnell Taylor, our fullback, those three fullbacks did some real fine blocking for Allen. And I'm really happy for Allen to reach his, the rushing record here at Notre Dame. And one of the referees, I asked before the game if he would reach that, if they would keep the ball that he carried it on, and he did, and he gave it to me at halftime. And we presented that to him after the game in the locker room, and we let the offensive linemen present the ball to Allen because they're the ones that block for him.
He's really durable, isn't it? A lot of times, isn't he?
I don't want to talk about that stuff because anytime you start talking about durability and things like that, something happens. All right, so let's go on to another topic.
Coach, a lot of times, even in the first half, you'll bring in a second-team tailback and give Allen a bit of a rest. You didn't do that today.
Well, we didn't because in the first half there we were about, I think he ran the ball maybe 14, 15 times in the first half. I don't really know the statistics, but it wasn't the amount where it would really tire him out, you know, and usually after a long run or a lot of carries, that's what wears him out, and that's when we have. And Hiawatha Francisco's really starting to come on. He played in the secondary up to about 5 weeks ago, and he's really picking it up, and I thought he did an excellent job.
Your kicking game, as you mentioned, Dan Sorensen, a walk-on, has really done the job for you.
He really has, and before the season started, it was between he and another young man, and we stuck with Dan because in the spring he did an excellent job of punting there, and so he really uncorked some today, and I think he's averaging about 42, 43 yards a punt.
14-0, Coach Faust, in the first quarter. You really came out smoking. Then a little bit of a lull. What happened in the second quarter?
Well, I was a little concerned in the second quarter there. I think that we really had momentum going until we had a roughing the punter. And we had held him there, and we had good field position because the ball we felt was hit. Now, it may have been shanked, but we thought one of our players got a piece of the ball. But they called roughing the kicker, in which that's probably what occurred. And that hurt us there. But up to that time, we were really going well. I thought going into halftime, we lost some momentum, and I was concerned about it at halftime and told the players that we had to get the momentum back, and the offense had to start it out. Well, we threw the pass in the first play of the second half, then it was just overthrown a little bit. If we'd have got that one there, I think that we would have had some good momentum, but our defense did an excellent job of stopping them down there, and then we took the ball and drove it all the way down the field and got the momentum back.
That was an 82-yard drive that put you ahead 21-10, and that was really a critical drive.
Yes, it was, and the team played well, and offense moved the ball well, and so we were very pleased with that drive. We had two 80-yard or 85-yard drives.
It seemed like you mixed it up very well on the drive, running with Pinkett and also that play action, faking at Pinkett and hitting those receivers in down in the seams.
Well, a lot of people claim we're predictable, but we really aren't. And, but when plays work and execution's done, then anything goes, you know, and that's just the story of the game of football. And, you know, and when the kids are playing well and executing well, then the coaches that call the plays are it's going to do a good job. So we were very pleased with the whole performance. We played an excellent Army football team, and I'm sure they're going to win a lot of football games this year. They already won a lot, but they're going to win a lot more. They're a well-coached football team, and they played very well today, and they played a lot with their heart out there, and I thought our players played well, too, and that's college football.
A freshman came in and helped you this afternoon, Andy Heck at a tight end.
Yeah, Andy's been coming on. He's been improving every week, and now we're going to play him a little bit more, and he's doing a lot better.
Coach, thanks very much.
Jack,
Congratulations.
Gerry, thank you very much.
Okay.
And great talking with you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Gerry. Congratulations. Coach Gerry Faust, as his Fighting Irish beat the Cadets of Army by a score of 24-10. Notre Dame led at halftime by a score of 14-7. That was cut to 14-10 when Army got on the board with a field goal. But Alan Pinkett kind of took charge in the second half. He ate up the clock and scored Notre Dame's touchdown to make it 21-10. And let's just watch Roaring 20. Alan Pinkett, who set the all-time rushing record for Notre Dame this afternoon.
And you can see why the offensive lineman gave him the football that they broke the record on, because they did some great blocking for him. And I'm sure Alan Pinkett, the type of guy who would thank every one of those offensive linemen because they did an outstanding job for him. And after that, it's all Alan Pinkett when you get in the open field. You know, here again, right now, you can see him just getting right. There's a 5 or 6 yard hole. People getting knocked down to the ground. And if Gerry Faust won't talk about it, but Alan Pinkett is a very durable running back, and I'm sure we won't jinx him at all. He'll have an outstanding senior rest of his career here at Notre Dame. But here's one more play of Alan Pinkett. This one breaking out of the I formation to the left side. He just reads the block. Wherever the hole comes, that's when he breaks through it. And this is where he's shown that great quickness. Breaking the 2 tackles right here. 2 or 3 people needed to bring a running back down of 183 pounds, so you know he's got very strong legs.
Got to have Allen is 5'9", 183 pounds. He comes out of Sterling, Virginia, and he set the all-time Notre Dame rushing record, surpassing that previously held by Vegas Ferguson this afternoon, and he just keeps adding to the record book here at Notre Dame, which certainly is an historic one, and Alan Pinkett just keeps adding new records to his total before he finishes up this year. But I'm sure for Alan Pinkett, a winning season and to go from here is going to be very important after a disappointing Notre Dame start at 1-3. Oh,
there's no question about it. I'm sure they would like to end on a great note. They got a number of tough football games, and besides the games here in Notre Dame, they've also got to play Penn State up at Beaver Stadium later on in the year, and also go down to the University of Miami. So they got a number of tough games left on their schedule.
Alan Pinkett is with us now. Alan, Harry Callis, and Jack Ham up here. Congratulations on surpassing the all-time rushing mark here at Notre Dame, held by Vegas Ferguson. Just a great afternoon. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It is indeed an honor, but I know I can't do anything to take away from what Vegas or a number of the other great backs have done in their tenure here. I'm happy to have the record, and I'm especially happy to have the linemen I have, because they have literally paved the way for me the entire 4 years I've been here.
Alan, were you surprised at some of the gaping holes that your offensive line gave you this afternoon?
I wasn't surprised at all. In fact, that's what I expect out of them, and I let them know that if they can give me just a little bit of a hole, I'll get them 8 yards or as many as I can, and they responded today. They had an excellent day, and they really made it easy for me, because when they give me a little opening, that's when I'm able to operate.
It seemed like you wore that team down, that defense down in the 3rd and 4th quarter, because that's when you made a lot of your yards.
Well, that was our game plan, to just wear them down, to run the ball right down their throat, because we were bigger than them, and that's Notre Dame football. That's really typical Notre Dame football. That's our style, to just take the ball and just try and shove it down a team's throat and go straight ahead.
Alan, your record-breaking run came in the first half. Let's take a look at it and have you comment on it. Here you go. All right. Here's a handoff from Berline to Alan Pinkett, and you recall that one before the first half that broke Vegas Ferguson's all-time record. You had a pretty good hole on the right side.
Yeah, that was a sprint draw type play, and it opened up beautifully. The lineman executed well, and really the only thing I had to do was run, and they gave me a lot of space to run, and I was hoping I could break it, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But we got a lot of yards out of it, and I was happy about that.
You hold so many records at Notre Dame: touchdowns, scoring, most 100-yard games. Which to you is the most significant? This one?
I think this probably is, because I think this one has had a greater impact on me, and I think there's been more of a big deal made about this record than any other record that I've broken. But let me tell you that the records really aren't that important to me, and winning is the most important here, and records are a thing that I dwell upon after the season. Right now, I'm just concerned about winning for Notre Dame.
And right now, I guess the only thing you can be thinking is the men of Troy, huh? USC.
Yes, sir. That's a big game here, and hopefully we can make it 3 in a row against USC. They're going to be coming in here fired up and ready to play, and hopefully we'll be the same, because we're playing here in our stadium, and we try to defend it.
Alan, you've had a great day running with the football, but it seemed like this afternoon you were open a few times in the passing game downfield, and Berline, you just misconnected a couple times.
Well, a lot of times I'm not the primary receiver, and Steve has to make a few reads before he comes back to me, and that's okay, because when he does miss me, I come back and tell him that he missed me, and he tries to look for me the next time. But I guess the important thing is that we won the football game today.
I would imagine your mom and dad were here to see this record-setting performance.
Yes, sir. In fact, they're right here now watching this interview and smiling and trying to make me laugh.
Congratulations, Alan.
Thank you very much.
To you.
Thank you very much.
Alan Pinkett, who set the all-time Notre Dame rushing record, surpassing the mark previously held by Vegas Ferguson this afternoon. A fine young man, and he just has etched his name in the record books in so many ways here at Notre Dame. Notre Dame winning by a score of 24-10. The offense with Alan Pinkett certainly did a good job, but the defense holding this team that was second in the nation in scoring behind only Iowa to 10 points certainly did a great job. And one of the key factors on that defensive front was Eric Dorsey, who was moved from nose guard to defensive tackle, a 6'5", 270-pound senior from McLean, Virginia. Eric is with us now, and Eric, congratulations, a great job moving over to a new position again.
Thanks a lot, sir.
How did it feel moving from nose guard to tackle?
Well, it feels a lot better. After the game, I have a lot less bruises, and I feel like I have a little more energy than I did when I was at nose tackle.
After watching the film of Army and seeing him rack up all those yards, 393 per game against all the other teams, were you confident you could stop there at Wishbone?
Yes, I think Air Force was a stepping stone for us stopping the Wishbone, and we had been working on practice really hard on just concentrating on the fullback, which was the key to Army's offense.
Eric, you've got USC coming up. You always have good games against USC.
I hate USC.
Why?
Because they didn't recruit me, so I hate them.
Well, Eric, best of luck to you. I guess you're staying at that defensive tackle now.
I hope so.
Okay, good luck to you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Eric Dorsey had a great day on the defensive line for Notre Dame as Notre Dame beat Army by a score of 24-10. This is Harry Callis for Jack Ham saying goodbye from Notre Dame Stadium in Notre Dame, Indiana. The final score once again, Notre Dame 24 and Army 10.